Well, hello everybody. So we're back. Thank you for being patient. I know we talked about Egypt and we talked about contact in the desert, and I know y'all like, where's the channeling? Where is Daniel? Where is he? And I appreciate y'all being patient and not sending me any crazy comments saying where is the channeling at. But I was able to get Tracie right before 4th of July. Today is July
Yay!
3rd, so this will probably go out during the weekend. So we had some extra time to knock out this video before our 4th of July plans kick in effect. With that being said, Tracie has a few announcements coming up. Tracie, what are some of the things you got coming up?
Well, if you watched the Egypt video, you already know I have the Egypt trip coming up in January. January 11th is the start date for that. And it's a 17-day journey and it's extraordinary. Go watch the Egypt video if you want more information on that, because I think we covered quite a bit. And we're doing the same initiatic path for this one. We're doing the same stops, the same journey, the chakra alignments. There's a whole lot of really cool things that go into it. If you want to go check out the website, that would be awesome. Check it out. And, I'm really looking forward to it because the last time was my first time there. And so that's its own experience. And now it's like, I'm so excited to find out what my experience will be there now that I've been there, and so I'll be looking at different
It's like
things.
this time was all good. Everything's like, wow, ooh. And then the second go around, you're like, oh, man,
How
this
did I
was not
miss that
going
last
too
time?
good.
No, no, it's going to go amazing. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking at things.
Yeah, because now you're going to be a pro now, because now you know what to expect and to do.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because, yeah, I'm going to be looking at it a little different, not with new eyes, but now I'm going to be more in the first round. It was kind of like, now what's this one called? What's this temple? And now it's like, now I've looked at pictures over and over again, and I've looked at some of these sites and found them online and found some history and stuff. So now that I have a personal experience there and some history with it, it's going to be a much different trip for me, but it's going to be so fun to go with people if you've never been before and just bring you through that experience. And we're going to be doing channeling and getting messages inside the temples and all the different things. And it's just a fun trip. So if you want to have your mind blown, there was 15 of us on that last one, and every one of us went through some form of transformation with it. And to this day, we're still talking about it. We're still in our chat talking about it and sharing with each other. So it's really cool.
Anything else before we bring in Daniel? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think there is. I did just do last Sunday, depending on when you post this, I did the Elevate Your DNA workshop because there
Okay.
is a lot of work on the DNA right now. So that might be something we talk about when Daniel gets in there. But
As I
that
was
is,
watching a DNA video on Instagram from the
were
X-Files.
you? Isn't that cool? Yeah. So we're all being kind of shown in our own little ways. But yeah, there was a workshop with that. If you guys are interested in listening to it, getting that journey, that's on my online store on traciemayhem.com. The recording of that is available in the store. But basically, we're opening up right now to a lot of new things. And so those will probably be things that we talk about today in this recording. But the DNA is something that's our physical bodies are going through a change. And we're not noticing it, by the way. We're not noticing it. So it's quite interesting. If you catch it, it'll be good. But what started some of this for me is I had a very powerful ascension session with someone, and when we got done, we came back on a different timeline, but we didn't notice that until later in the day. And she sent me this recording of a gal talking about the Mandela effect. And she
Mm.
says, "Where's your heart in your body?" And I'm like, "It's on the left side, right?" And it's not. It's in the center now. It's behind the sternum. And I mean, it curves to the left, but the timeline I came on, it sat on the left side. It, like, all the
Right,
charts
that
and
was the whole
everything, put it on
thing.
the left side. So
You know, I,
yeah.
I remember videos of the Mandela effect talking about that. Though. So many people say, well, that's why we always put our hand over
Yeah.
our chest when we did the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff like that. And then I remember people saying like, well, that's because that's what we're used to. It's not like the heart was there. That's what we're told to put our
But the people
hands
on the
over our
new
chest.
timeline will say that, but the ones that remember
Mhm.
the old timeline, we're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
we're
it's an
we're gonna
interesting
remember it
debate,
differently. Yeah.
And it's
So,
probably hard to prove like, no, it
oh, it's
was a
impossible to
person.
prove because if you're on the new timeline, everything on the new timeline, including movies, you'd be like, oh
Mhm.
no, no, I remember in this one movie, that. Well, you go to that movie and now you got the new timeline version of it.
You-
So it might make you feel like you're a little crazy. But if you remember things that you're thinking, man, that's weird. I thought that was different. And I had a whole thing with Julia Cannon again, the past life regression in the timeline I was in, that was included in one of the packages that you bought. In this timeline, you buy it separately.
hmm.
And I thought somebody was scamming. I was like, somebody's got this going. I just had a client tell me they had to buy that separately. And she goes, yeah, we've always done it that way. And I'm like, no, you haven't. I've been doing QHHT since 2013. So what's that, 11 years now? And that was the first
Hmm.
time I ever heard you had to buy that separately. I was like, hmm. So pay attention when it feels like something's different. Don't poo-poo it and think, oh, I must just be remembering that wrong. You're probably remembering a different timeline. So it's important to not discredit yourself if you're having one of those moments.
So two things. So for the heart thing,
Hmm.
a lot of people remember being on their left side, and now that it's in the center, you think there's a reason for the heart to be in the center? Is it like a metaphysical message saying, hey, to help center yourself, to bring balance? You
I
think
think
that
it's
has anything
evidence
to
to
do with
us.
it?
That would be my guess is it's showing us
It
more
seems that
centered now.
when you start going down these metaphysical things, it always seems like there's some metaphysical
Yeah.
message that goes along with it, some reasoning behind it. And then for the Mandela effect, the one that gets me the most is um the 007 with the guy Jaws. He had the metal in his mouth and everything.
Yeah.
And at the end of the scene, there's a girl, blonde hair. I guess she's wearing pigtails or something. And she smiles. And I remember her having braces. But
Mm.
if you look at the movie now, she does not. There's no braces. And that was the whole theme is that
Is because she had metal in her mouth.
and yeah, because she had metal in her mouth and he had metal in his mouth. They're like, oh, that's so cute. They got something in common. So that was a big one that I was like, no,
Wow.
I remember
So
something,
clearly. Yeah.
something. Because if she just smiled, it'd be like, oh, okay, she just likes him because you know she's open-minded to a guy with a bunch of metal in his mouth. You know,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the whole point was to make that connection. Metal mouth.
exactly.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it is some interesting times. Our DNA is being upgraded. We may or may not notice it. You may notice a change in your appetite, sleep structures, different things going on right now as symptoms of these changes, but physical things. I don't know if you've had this experience or not, but I notice when I change timelines, there's like new species of animals. And I'm like, that's a really cute animal. How have I never seen that before? You know darn well with social media and all of that, you would have seen this animal before. I've had that
Maybe.
happen a couple of times where I'm like,
I always thought they just discovered a new animal. And they're like, hey, we just discovered this new animal. But then it's like, oh, we've been
yeah, how
knowing
did
about
we not
this.
know? Yeah, how did we not know about this? So I just figure when I see that, it's because I'm on a different timeline now where that species exists. So, or we're all evolving to a new timeline.
I was
And
joking around with my coworker. He said that me and maybe I did, but he said me and him and a few other guys went to lunch at this restaurant. And I said, "What's it called?" And he names it, and it's I can't pronounce it. It's Italian, and like Vivinician or something like that.
yeah,
So it's an Italian restaurant. It's very old. And I said, Don, I know I've never been to a restaurant like that. I like say it again, and he tells me the name of the restaurant. I was like, Don, that wasn't me. He goes, yeah, yeah, you was with me. I'm like, maybe in another time zone, maybe another timeline, or maybe that's a Mandela effect. So I did tell him that today. So I was like,
Yeah.
that was not me, buddy. He goes, no, well, it
Oh,
wasn't, it just wasn't us. It was me and a group. And I was like, where is it at? And he shows me where it's at. I'm like, ain't now it's called Central Po' Boy. That's the name of the restaurant now. I
oh,
said, I said, Don, I said, I went there once and it was closed. And we went there because it was a po' boy shop and it was closed. So we had to pick another restaurant. And I said, so we didn't even get to eat at this Central Po' Boy restaurant. So we had to find another
wow.
place. So I was like, I didn't even know anything was back there. So I was like, I know we never ate at that restaurant.
And he
You
swears
know,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I'll
uh,
tell you
that
what the
was a little
weird
joke
one
of the
is.
day. I'm like, Don, you this is the Mandela effect, buddy. It's
That's
getting
what it
to you.
is.
It's
They're
like,
showing it to you. Um, I had somebody, I had one of my siblings post, like one of those old Western pictures that you take when you can go to the beach or something. You can go get dressed up in the Western outfits and they'll take a black and white of you or whatever.
uh-huh.
And my sister posted a picture of that from way back. And I was like, oh, that's cute. I wonder when they did that. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in that picture and I have no memory of it.
Hmm.
You'd have to, and it's not like I was a little kid. I was like probably 19, 20 years old in that picture. And I don't remember doing it. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
We might have to ask Daniel about this.
Yeah, that might get
Daniel.
interesting. Let's find out what he has to say about these timeline shifts. But yeah, when you see yourself in a picture and you don't remember it, one of my siblings, we were all sitting at a table together and they're reminiscing. And my older brother says, oh my gosh. And we grew up Catholic. And he goes, do you remember that time where dad made us say the rosary every night after dinner? And I was sitting there going, that's weird. I don't remember that. I must have been pretty little. And then my younger sister, who's 4 years younger than me, goes, oh my gosh, I hated that. I'm like, wait a minute. If she remembers it, then, and I'm 4 years older than her, I had to be old enough to remember it. And so as they talk about it, it built a memory. It's kind of like that butterfly effect where he goes and changes the history. And then when he goes back to current time, he gets downloaded with the new timeline. That one, I feel like I got downloaded with it and kind of remember it, but still, I do not have the memory of it like they do. Like they remembered it. And I was like, how long did he make us do that? Why don't I remember that? Having to say the rosary every night after dinner. That's weird. So yeah, it would be interesting because there's been a few of those moments where I'm just like, what just happened? I had the one when I was sitting on the beach in Florida with my friend Stacy and we heard the loud noise and I told this one before where I was looking out at the water and there was nothing in front of us. I was looking this way and there's nothing going on over here. There's a guy out snorkeling and his little kid was on the beach yelling for him.
Hmm.
And I was watching all of that. And then we heard the loud thunder noise. We turned around like this and we turned around like this. And then there was 5 kayakers in front of us that weren't there before and they weren't over here and they were heading that way. So they would have been coming from this way. To have that happen was so profound. It was like we literally just shifted realities. Like there's kayakers here. The guy that was snorkeling's up on the beach now. Like there's no way he could have got back up and up on the beach and then he was playing with his kid.
Mm.
And I was sitting there just blown away by it. And Stacy was on her phone, so she didn't notice anything. I said, where did the kayakers come from? And she's like, oh, I don't know. They were probably just over here or whatever. And I'm like, no, I've been sitting here watching the water. They were nowhere to be seen. And this is what we probably do. And she was like, huh. And then she starts messaging somebody or, doing something else. And we just poo-poo these things like, oh, I must have just not noticed them or something. But if we start paying attention, we're going to start noticing more and more of it. and we're going to realize that we're like little superheroes moving through the dimensions, the timelines.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll at the end of this video, after you've done your channeling, I will provide what I've learned in Dolores Cannon's books about the Mandela Effect
ooh, cool. Okay.
and some other people's sessions as well. Because they bring it up. They bring it up in their sessions. So other
Smart.
practitioner sessions. So
Cool.
should be fun. Should be fun. I'll save it
No
for a
pressure, right? No pressure.
little bonus information. So
Very cool.
I don't
All
want
right.
to spoil anything, you know.
Or influence anything, which is
That's
brilliant.
right. That's right. I want to keep the influence to a minimal.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me go get Daniel. Let's find out what he has to say and see where that takes us. Okay.
Perfect.
Lately, what they've been doing sometimes is showing me images before I get started, and they're showing the sun at the center, and then there's a rainbow, and the sun is right at the top center of that rainbow, and the rainbow goes over the sun. It's like they're both together. And so there's something, if you see rainbows, that's going to be important. There's some energy in that. There's something important going on in that. And some of you might actually see it line up like that, where you see the rainbow and the sun is right there as if it's shining right through the rainbow. I'm asking right now, what's the message with that? What do you want us to know about that? So we'll come in now. We'll come in and share with you. And hello, Jason. Hello, audience. It is wonderful to be here with you. And we
How
do
you
want
doing, Daniel?
we're doing wonderful as we are watching the greatest show on earth, right? We're watching it. And so what we want to say about this image that we were just showing, Tracie, is we want to remind you that there is enlightenment, not enlightenment, awakening within, remembering within the colors, the frequencies of the colors, the type of colors you're looking at. So the colors that come through in a rainbow, those are a frequency of light. And then the colors, say, that you put down, if you get out your box of crayons and you're coloring, those are a different activation than light colors and light codes. And so if you do see a rainbow, or even if you're lucky enough to see the rainbow with the sun shining through it like that, it is a beautiful message to you and a reminder to you to spend time in the light. One of the things that you had both discussed about talking about is the sun codes that are coming in. They're not just sun codes, they are light codes. And that is why it's important also to be out at night and get the light of the moon and the light of the stars. It's important for you to, we don't want to make it sound like this is, we invite you, instead of saying it's important, we invite you to take advantage of these times. Go out in the light and get the light codes. Go out at night and get the light codes from the stars, from the moon, get the patterns, get the information. You don't have to know what it is. You don't have to understand it. Just spend 5 minutes outside if you can, and just get outside. Even if it's cloudy or overcast, that is okay. You're still out in the light and getting natural light. And it's important for your body right now, as it is going through the DNA upgrades, that these light codes reach your body. It will help to acclimate the body to the new frequencies, the new vibrations that are coming in. There's awakening happening, remembering happening with these codes. A lot of people have been asking, can we remember? Can we remember where we go when we sleep? Can we remember when we go somewhere where our lifetimes were? Can we remember why we feel pulled to these things, these certain places on earth, these sacred sites? Why are we all being pulled here? And it's going to help you remember. It's going to activate you in many ways. And your soul language or light language is one of those ways that it'll start coming through. So the symbol that we are speaking of with the energy and the rainbow and the light is to remind you that it isn't just the sunlight that is activating you. It is when you get the sprinkler going and you can see the rainbows reflect that reflection of the sunlight that creates the rainbows. Those are activating for you. Just know that you're being activated, whatever light codes are coming through, and that don't be surprised if you are seeing colors in the sky, it is important to remember that these colors are very activating for you. You may see the aura around things as different colors than you remember them being before. If you look at a tree and you see that white glow around the tree, maybe that white glow is changing to a different frequency, because the earth is also going through these changes, and their auras are changing and your auras are changing. There's just so much going on, and it's such a powerful time. And there's just a lot of things we can say, but we're going to stop talking in case you have a question for us, Jason, and we can be more focused with you. And so we're
Well,
opening that up now. Yes.
nice. I know earlier you said that, stay out the sunlight, the moonlight, and so on, that you didn't have to know exactly what was going on. But if someone was curious, what would someone experience? What would someone get from being out in the moonlight, the starlight, and the sunlight? What would be some of the things that, besides the codes, what's some of the things that someone can expect?
What we would like to say to that is we would encourage people to spend some time outside. Just do your daily things outside. Don't try to figure it out while you're out there, because we need your eyes open. We need you thinking and active and moving, or even just sitting out on a chair and enjoying whatever it might be. That is not the time to try to figure it out. Once you retreat back to your home and go into your meditation, that's when we want you to ask, what did I receive today? When I was outside in that sunlight, when I was outside in the moonlight, what did I receive today? And then just open the mind to let it download and dump that information in for you. Some of it may not make sense. It may be scribbles and pictures or colors, or just silence. It may be that you get a lot of information. Maybe you'll be shown things, lifetimes, and different directions and things, answers to things that you have been asking about, and intuitive nudges to go certain ways, or inspirations for whatever it is that you are working on and how to evolve it. And so it's not the actual time that you are in it that would be important, as when you go into meditation afterwards and ask what it is you're receiving. Some people would like to sit and meditate in the sun or in the moonlight. That is perfectly fine. You're still going to get the energy and the codes, but we do ask you to spend some of that time with your eyes open intentionally. And we don't want you to stare directly at the sun. That's not what we're asking you to do, but having your eyes open and receiving the light through, how do we want to say, the ocular vision, through the vision. It's going to be activating you in a different way than just receiving it through the sun touching your skin and your body. So it's going to be many things. It's going to be different for everybody, what it is you receive. And for some of you, it'll be clarity. You'll receive the answers to the prayers. You'll receive releasing from traumas. You'll receive a lot of things. It's a very powerful energy coming in. I'm not sure if you remember, there was a time we talked about, and maybe that wasn't on your show, and we apologize if it was not, but we were talking about you are being prepared. You are being prepared for the energies that were coming in, and you have been acclimating, and the solar flares were coming in, and the moon and the stars and the way things were lining up, and the retrogrades and all the ways that they were lining up in your astrological chart. It was all moving energy, clearing out and purging old energy that wasn't working for you anymore, relationships, jobs, where you live, whatever it was, and it was creating change for you. And that change that it was creating is lining you up for the energy that's coming in now. And whatever steps you made then were lining you up for what you receive now in the form of the energy that's coming in. And everybody is in perfect and wonderful alignment with the energy. You are getting exactly what you need to be getting so that you can move to the next step. And you don't have to worry, because this energy is going to be going on for quite some time. So it's not like you're going to miss the boat if you're like, oh, I'm going to quit being in resistance to doing my emotional work and my self-love work. I'm going to get on that now. I hope I didn't miss anything. You're not. You're not going to miss anything. It's going on for a while now, and it's going to keep helping elevate you with every step you take. The energy will be there to elevate you. It's just, we encourage you to be outside at least once a day. And then again at night, if you can, go outside again and just stand there. It could be 5 minutes. It could be as long as you want, but spend some time outside and get into the energy of it.
Will this have any effect on the DNA? Because we were talking about DNA earlier. Would this do
Yes.
anything with that?
Your DNA has been going through its own upgrade. The solar flares were helping with the DNA upgrades, and there will be more of those coming in. That is a little different than what we were just talking about with the light codes that were coming. Those are a little bit different than the structure that's coming in to work with the DNA. And you guys were talking about how the physical body is changing, the mental body is changing. And yes, those things are happening. The cellular body is changing. The human body is getting even more in alignment with self-healing, and it is becoming more normal, more natural to receive alternative methods of healing and assistance, chiropractic, acupuncture, naturopathic, tinctures, sound healing, all the things, all the healings, right? Energy healing, all the things. So all of that is becoming more and more active in humanity. You may not think so when you're looking out into the bigger parts of the world, but we want to remind people, and maybe if this is the first time you're listening, maybe you haven't heard this before, but we want to remind people that there are a lot of, Jason, we've talked about this before, there's a lot of the backdrop people. So when
Yes,
you
we
look at
did.
humanity and you see billions of people, you have to consider that some of those people are backdrop people. What does that mean, Daniel? Well, that means that there's a lot of bodies here on this planet that are playing roles for you as backdrop people, and they're there playing a role. So rather they seem like they're awakened or not awakened is throwing off the idea that people are not waking up. And we're going to say to you that they're all waking up. Everybody is waking up. And the more that you start to do what you came here to do, self-love, self-respect, having a loving and compassionate relationship with self and with others. And as you keep evolving that, as you keep stepping into your journey and what did you come here to do? And are you doing it? And are you doing the work? And then clearing out those old wounds, clearing out the old hurts, and finding your place in basically neutrality, right? You are letting go of judgment, attachments, expectations, and you are just experiencing now. And that's where, as you are evolving to that and being in the experience in a most compassionate and loving way, rather that experience was delightful or undelightful, you're understanding it. It's like, oh, I know why that happened, because that's moving me to do this now, and that's changing how I'm going to respond to this and this, instead of always feeling like a victim in everything, like everything is happening to you. Now you're evolving to understand, oh, I know why that's happening right now. That's happening to challenge me in this way so that I can grow spiritually. It's helping to challenge me in this way so I'll move and change directions. As you keep evolving that part of yourself, the world around you will no longer have to mirror back to you the things that you need to heal. And when that happens, the backdrop people don't have to play those roles anymore. And then you'll notice the company you keep is much different. So you'll notice some people will fall away and some new ones may come in and bring in new frequencies, new relationships, new connections for you. And so remember, and even Dolores would say this, everyone that is around you, they are all actors in your play, and you are an actor in their play. And sometimes you'll be activated to say or do things to be a trigger for someone else. And you may later go, man, why did I say that? That's weird. I wouldn't normally say something like that or do something like that, or I didn't mean it that way. And yet spirit used you to be a trigger for someone else to initiate their healing and their healing journey and whatever it was they were triggered in. So you're all playing parts with each other. And there are many backdrop people here that are playing a role as well. And so we know that gets a little convoluted and it gets a little confusing, but it's not to worry about. You don't need to extend your energy outside of you and worry about what is a backdrop person. And if the people in your life that you are close to, those are real people, right? Those are not backdrop people, those are real people. And so you don't have to worry what is a backdrop person. Please don't. Don't put your mind on it. What we want you to be focused on is your journey. How do you feel? Are you happy in your life? Are you doing the things you want to be doing? Are you the kind of person that you came here to be and that you want to be in this world? Are you being the best version of yourself? And as you work towards those goals, you're going to really be excited about where your life goes and what this world looks like. And the 5D, the new earth, is created through these actions. And as each person elevates themselves in this way and it gets more focused on how are they in this world, how are they receiving it, how are they responding to it, how are they living in it, then that shows the next person and the next person and the next person. And next thing you know, you have the 100th monkey, right? Where everybody is getting this frequency and everybody is falling in love with their life and manifesting and creating and living in a world where you don't have to lock the door at night, right? Because you've got all these beautiful, loving beings around you. We know we went on for a long time. Did we answer the question you were asking?
Oh, absolutely. I probably gained 20 more questions, but I think I'm going to narrow it down to a few. So, with that being said, I'm assuming all these codes and the night codes, the sun codes, and so on, I guess this deals with the shift by any chance? Because
Yes,
we're
it does.
shifting into different energies?
Shifting into different energies, shifting into different memories and recall and abilities. And the mind is opening into more awareness. So you've all reached this point now where you've taken it about as far as you can, right? You're like, where do you go once you've gone to the universe, then you've gone to the multiverse, and then you've gone beyond that, and then you get to the void, and then you're in creation itself, and then it's like, what's beyond that? And so you're getting the upgrades, you're getting more understanding, you're getting more of the, ooh, we just had words for it and we just lost it, but you kind of had a singular view of something, and now you're going to get multiple views of the same thing, and you're going to have the capacity to understand it. You're going to have the capacity to look at multiple timelines at the same time as if they've all happened and been created. You're going to know the one you're on,
Mm.
but you're also going to understand that there was other results as well. And you're going to be able to look at that and you're going to be able to comprehend it and you're going to be able to register all of that in your mind. And that can be a little bit of an out of the box way of thinking, right? It's like, how would you be able to see multiple timelines and multiple outcomes and still be able to understand the one that you're on without those other ones getting in there and confusing you? Well, in the beginning, it might be confusing. And, like Jason and Tracie were talking, and Jason was saying, yeah, a friend said I was at this restaurant with him, and I don't have any memory of that. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. These kind of memories will start jumping in now where other people are coming in and reminding you of something that you don't remember doing. And then there may be another time where you're the one going, wait, did I do that or was that a dream? And yet here I am over here doing this, but I remember doing it that way yesterday. And you'll have those kind of confusions at first, but when that starts happening, don't let yourself go crazy, right? That's not the point. The point is that you're like, oh, I'm starting to receive a lot of information right now. So call in your guides and angels to help you to gather that information and to understand it and put it into place as to why do you have that information? Why did your higher self want you to have these memories? In the beginning, it'll be just a way for you to be able to learn how to use this, be able to be in all these different experiences without getting confused by them. And then later you will use them as a way to experience more. You're going to have a bigger, more vast experience, and to be able to play with time, because all of this is about time and how you manipulate time and experiencing multiple versions of time. So you're going to get really good at that. You're going to be able to work with telekinesis and some other great things that are going to start coming in. Some of you may already be starting that, and you can start doing a practice with that, seeing if you can move objects. To spend a little time on that every day. Do something simple at first. Maybe stare at a candle and grow the flame, and then maybe, what is the other one? You put a little piece of paper at the top of a needle and see if you can get it to spin, those types of things. There's exercises out there to work with your telekinesis. There are some that are already doing it. So if you're one of those, maybe start sharing that a little bit. Put a post down below. These guys would love to hear about it. But your mind is expanding, and it's bringing in the magic, right? That magic is real. They're bringing in the magic, or what your world would consider to be magic, and being able to do different things. There's going to be a point where you're going to know how to biolocate, and you're going to be able to take your physical body, not just remote view something, but to take the physical body and move it to another location. That's a little bit further out in the future, but these are the things we're talking about. So when you're getting these codes, you are taking steps towards these new ways of understanding. But here's the fun part again. You may not remember that you didn't know that before, because somewhere you've always known it. It's just that you're remembering it. It's activating parts of your brain that are holding those memories and those connections to those memories. You are the Akashic records, right? You are your own Akashic records. You have all the memories, all the skills somewhere from those lifetimes and lifetimes lived and other planets, this planet, other solar systems, galaxies, and so on. And so as you're bringing these codes in, they are helping you to open to that. And as you are accepting and receiving the upgrades from the DNA, from solar flares, and there are some other supporting energies going on. Mother Earth is also sending energy up, and it is moving up through the feet, it is moving through the sun, and it is moving through the moon. And so as you do that, as you connect those dots, you are powerfully creating, what do we want to say? You are powerfully creating a new reality, really, not just a new timeline, but you're creating that new Earth. You're creating that new, everything's new, right? Why are they showing it? They're showing it like a shiny object. It's a lot of gold light coming in as we talk to you about this. We'll share our experience with you. There's a lot of gold light coming in, and they're showing this beautiful shiny gold object. It's shaped kind of like the heart. And so maybe that's why the heart moved to the center, right? But all of this showing you that you are coming more into alignment. You are coming more into this God light or source light or whatever you identify with it. This is a reminder of who you are. And yes, there's going to be some limits because you are in a physical body, but at the same time, the physical body gives you an opportunity to experience this shift in a way that you wouldn't experience it if you were in a light body. And so the physical body is actually playing a very interesting role with humanity right now, as you are learning to heal it, you are learning to shape it, you are learning to how to feed it, how to nourish it, how to put it in the sun, how to put it in a bath and soak it in water, how to do all these things with this body, right? You're like, oh, I have this thing I need to take care of. I'm going to start doing it like this. And you're going to keep getting downloads and wanting to do things a little differently, finding your body wants to move certain ways. Some people like yoga, some people like salsa dancing, some people like just moving around in ecstatic dance. And some people just want to meditate and hold space in that body. However you do it, find a relationship that you like with your body. I don't care what size you are. I don't care if your body's not feeling well right now. I don't care. Find a relationship with it. Talk to it, bless it, thank it. It's so important to hold gratitude over the body and to understand the physical body is part of why you wanted to be here right now. The physical body is why you chose to be a volunteer, to come in and experience, because you're going to experience this in a way that has not been experienced before. This upgrade and this change and this shift within the cells, within the physicality, within the dimensions, within the timelines and all the things, everything little bit by little bit. And it's happening more rapidly now, and then more rapidly again. And the sounds you hear, you go into, let's say, a sound bath of energy. All of that vibration from the sound, you see the colors, you see the sounds, you feel nature around you, you feel the city around you. Maybe you're hearing honking cars, maybe you're hearing children playing in a park. Whatever it is, stop and enjoy it. And if it is traffic that you're listening to, or the neighbor yelling, or a dog barking, what would it take to enjoy that? To sit there and say thank you to your body for creating this opportunity to experiencing hearing, and not just feeling, not just being an energy body of feelings and telepathy, but actually hearing with a physical ear, smelling with the physical nose, tasting with that mouth, all the things. Think about all the things and what a beautiful thing it is. And what an extraordinary thing that body is. What a interesting machine, right? You've got a brain, you've got all these organs, you've got this skin suit. It's such an interesting thing. And so it would be beautiful to watch each of you stepping into more gratitude around the physicality, and to open your minds and to meditate every day. Give yourself at least 10 minutes. And even if you find it hard to sit still, just talk to God then, your God, your source, your person, your higher self, whatever you want to resonate with. Spend 10 minutes talking with that part, that higher part of you, that connection for you. Tell that part about your day. If you can't meditate, then have a conversation. This is how my day went, or if you're in the morning, this is how I want my day to go. Open the doors for me, find a way, remove the obstacles, bring me to the right places at the right time. Doors of opportunity are opening for me everywhere. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for bringing me into the right relationships that are helping me to thrive and grow, that support me, love me. Thank you that I know that everything that is happening is in the highest and best good for my evolution, for where I'm going, for where I want to be. Thank you for giving me roots to this beautiful place and connections to the heavens above. Thank you for the ability to understand how to do those kinds of connections, where I connect to Earth and also to spirit world, to the star seeds, to the other planets. You see what we mean? It feels good when you get done saying all that, right? It elevates. So play with it, practice it, wear it, and enjoy it. Okay, we'll stop talking again and give you a chance to ask questions.
That was a lot of great information, ton of great stuff.
Mm.
If we could, before we run out of time, can we talk about, we brought up the Mandela effect, and it seems like if we can get your point of view, your definition, or if, how you see the Mandela effect, because you mentioned the shift, you mentioned changes, things are changing. What is the best way to explain the Mandela effect from your point of view?
We like the way that this just came in for us. It's like the room of magic mirrors, right? Or when you go to a dressing room and they have all the mirrors so you can see all the way around you. And so you look different in each of those mirrors, right? You have a different view or a different perspective of what's happening, the clothing you're wearing, the experience you're having in those clothes, the mirrors. And so think about that. And each of the timelines is a mirror, and in each timeline, there's a little variation from the one in front of you to the one beside you to the one behind you. And so you're going to get little variations, but for the most part, you're experiencing the one thing, but you're just experiencing different perspectives or different variations of them. And then when someone else is doing the same thing, and then you come together and wherever whatever mirror you chose to go through and whatever mirror they chose to go through, you're comparing those experiences from those timelines. And that's when you're getting that Mandela effect. So there is this, ultimately, there is your aspected soul that is playing the role of Jason. And then this role of Jason, this aspected soul, branches out into many different versions of possibilities. And then as you come back into the awareness of those possibilities, which one did you bring back with you? And so you're starting to become more aware of multiple possibilities. And think about back in the day when it was innocent. There was a time where your friend could have said, yeah, when we ate at that restaurant, you would be like, huh, I don't remember that. And then you'd go about your day and that would be the end of it, right? You would not have overthought that or went, I swear to God, I was not there with you. You would have thought, man, did I drink too much? Do I just not remember? I don't know what it was. And so now the awareness is opening up and all these variations. It's always been happening, but people have not been awake enough to notice it. It's been going under the radar, right? And so it's kind of like, it's like that really soft noise that you don't hear. And then as it gets louder and louder and louder, now you're like, oh, now I can't not hear it. And that's what you're going through. It's like before it used to be so subtle, you never noticed it. And now it's getting very loud and very apparent, and it's showing you because you're awakening. You're moving into new frequencies. Those new frequencies are showing you new windows of and new views of your life and all the experiences you're having, and how multi-dimensional you are in reality. So you've always been bringing other timelines into your reality. You just haven't always remembered that you're doing that. And now it's exciting. It's like you're leaving yourself clues so that you'll find them. And then it's kind of fun to think about it and think, wow, I came from, or there's a memory in my current situation where things were different than that. And it's just because you're pulling these energies together. And if you think about it, as you keep moving into new frequencies, when you're no longer an energetic match to say, well, we'll use higher and lower as a scale so you can understand it. As you're no longer a match to, say, fear-based energies, and then the timelines that help fear-based energies are going to fall away, and you're not going to have the memories of those anymore. So it could be that you did go to that restaurant with your friend, and that timeline dropped away because it was in a frequency that you're not resonating with anymore. So the memory went with it. Could be that. There's a lot of theories out there. We'd like to hear some of your theories and what you believe this is all creating for you. But you're in this convoluted experience, and there's multiple things going on for you always in every moment at all times. Even now, so many things going on that you wouldn't even be able to count them. It's infinite. And so some of those experiences you'll bring in, and some of them you'll let them go. And you're getting better at holding on to more and more of those and expanding that. And, there used to be a time where they would say 10 people could all watch the same event happen, and out of 5 million pieces of information, each one of those 10 people will only get 5,000 pieces of 5 million pieces of information. And each of them will get a different piece to that. So each of them have a different experience. Well, what if we told you now you're getting, instead of 5,000, you're getting 25,000 pieces of that, and it just keeps increasing. And so now you're having more information. Instead of saying, oh, there was a car accident over here on First and Fremont Street, and this is what I saw happening. Now you're going to go, oh, there was a car accident on First and Fremont Street. Isn't that interesting how that had to line up? Like each of these people's day had to go exactly the right way for them to end up colliding in this spot right here. And all the different pieces that had to fall into place for them to be right there at that exact time. And you're not just thinking, oh, there was an accident over here. Now your mind's expanding out to how orchestrated and convoluted that was to get everybody that was there, that witnessed it there, everybody that was involved in it, and the event itself to happen. And you're starting to think big and outside of the box, right? And so it's just going to keep getting into a bigger form of understanding, into a different perspective, into beautiful, exciting things, because you're going to see, oh, if something different would have happened at work today for that person, they wouldn't have been there at that time. It had to go just the way it did for them to be on this timeline. And if they would have just done one thing different, it wouldn't have happened. And all the things, right? So the timelines, the Mandela effect, it is all part of your memories coming back and your mind's expanding and pulling these things all together. It's a little fragmented right now as you're putting them together, as you're putting pieces into place, but have fun with it, because it is an exciting time, and it is evidence that you are expanding and growing, and that your minds are going through the ascension, your bodies are going through the ascension, and you're having the experiences. All right, so we're going to stop there with that, because we kind of went off in different directions. But is there anything else that you would want us to talk about?
No, other than just to keep the conversation moving, because that was a lot of great information about the Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you would like to add about the shift by any chance?
Let's look. Before we just start randomly talking, let's look and see. They're showing us that the animals will be acting different. Different how is what we're hearing in our head now. Different migration, different patterns than what they would normally have. So don't be surprised, just like your weather changed. Weather's changing around the world. The migration may change. The behavior of the animals is going to be a little different. It's not a bad thing, and it's nothing to be afraid of. Everybody is acclimating and changing with this energy. And with the physical earth is going through a change. And so if the physical earth goes through a change, then of course the animals feel it first. They're so in tune with the earth, and the humans will also start changing their patterns and in their awareness. But we already just talked all about that. So don't be surprised if you see things changing with the animals and their patterns and their behaviors, including the ones in your homes, your pets. It's interesting. They took us into Africa and showed us the elephants, that the elephants are going to be doing something. So watch for that. Maybe you'll start hearing something about elephants doing something different. Elephants are such brilliant creatures, right? They're brilliant creatures. And there may be more signs of intelligence coming out from them. You'll see evolution through them as well. So back to your symptoms or your things to watch for in the shift. Your physical body, we already talked about that a little bit. Your physical body may need more sleep, maybe that you can't sleep at all. You're going to have some different things. There's many different symptoms you could be going through. Some people get lightheaded, a little dizzy, as they're moving through things. Sometimes when they move through those timelines, you get a little bit woozy or like, whoa, what just happened? And you feel a little wonky for a second, and then you're back on track and you're like, what just happened? That could have been a timeline shift. That could have been you feeling it because you wanted to know when it happens. You guys ask for these things, and then when things are happening, you're not catching it. So if you feel that, stop and think and start paying attention as you go on through your day. Did anything change, or is anything different? And see if anything stands out to you that might feel a little different, or maybe it won't show up for a day or two. And then somebody will say something and it'll throw you off. And then remember, oh yeah, I shifted timelines. So some people experience headaches. If you are experiencing the headaches, please either you can rub your head or have somebody rub your head, but hit the pressure points. And if you just do it as intuitively as you can to kind of help move the energy through. Sometimes our minds are going through a lot of upgrades, and so that can come through as being very intense for the mind. So just start massaging the pressure points of the head, and that'll help the energy move. It'll help the flow of the energy moving, and that would help with those. Resting will also help with those. Then there is, as we're looking at any other symptoms that may want to be brought up, they're showing us something with the eyes. Maybe you're having a hard time focusing, you think you need a new prescription in your glasses or something. They're working with the eyes as well. What our impression is that they are correcting the eyes. The human eye has not been able to see all the spectrums of light, and it keeps it from experiencing certain dimensions on the earth, because there are many dimensions, as you know. And so the human eyes have been worked on, because when you move into the fourth and fifth dimension, the human eye will also be going through its changes. So if you're feeling like your vision is off or blurry or not what it used to be, by all means, go get some new glasses. Maybe that will help, but it's also because they're getting your eyes ready for the changes, the frequencies, the DNA, all the things. You may feel nauseous as you're going through some of those changes because your body is changing, and the physical body will start to go through some changes, whether you're gaining weight or losing your appetite or all those things. They're all ways to move through this energy. There's websites that will help you as well with these different shifts. There's many people out there working in this area to help humanity get through these things. So you can search that and find more answers for yourself, and even some reasons as to why is this happening? Why am I having that symptom? What is it doing? Sometimes people can feel like they're in a pressure cooker. There's just so much change going on that it's just pushing on them from all the angles. And it's because you're moving out of a density into another frequency. So it's kind of like going through the birthing canal, right? And so you're leaving one reality and going into another one. And so just keep that in mind, all of those symptoms, right? It's like it's going to feel wonky sometimes. You're going to feel out of place sometimes. You're going to feel maybe a little anxiety from time to time because there's something off, there's something different. It's because you are changing and moving through things. You are different. You are changing, and you're sensing that. Okay. Is that enough on that, or do you want more?
No, I think that was perfect. I think that was real good. And we still have about 10 more minutes left. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience? Is there any messages or anything that you would like to share for the audience?
Well, we know that we had a special request to see if the Pleiadians were around to bring in any messages. So let us see what we can deliver for that. We are here. As we are here, I say we, there are several of us. There are two of us here that are moving energy through Tracie right now to communicate a message, to just let you know that there is a lot of integrating going on. There are many of us that are walking among you. You will not recognize us, and you won't recognize us until we are ready to let you know who we are. For some of you, that may have already happened, but for the majority of you, we have not revealed ourselves yet. We want you to look into the eyes of people. When you look into their eyes, you're going to feel it. You're going to know. If you see one of us, you will feel it. You'll get that soul recognition. So just play with that a little bit. And there's a lot of people that say, how come we haven't met any of you? How come you're not here with us? How come you're not showing yourselves to us? And the Pleiadians are one of the collectives, the star beings that have been fortunate enough to be able to be in your third dimensional frequency. And we have been among you. And we are working with many of you. So start paying attention, looking into the eyes. We are not speaking of somebody that would be a close friend to you. We do not make bonds while we are here. We are here to step in, step out. And so when you have something going on and somebody steps in and makes a quick encounter with you, pay attention to how that feels. See if it feels familiar to you. But just know that we are not here to create relationships with people. We are here to help humanity. And so for the most part, we'll stay out of sight, out of mind, and then we'll come in and intervene in certain places. We will be that guardian angel that shows up once in a while, but we are here and we have been walking among you. And many of you have already met a Pleiadian. Many of you are from the Pleiadian councils, or from the Pleiadian Star Collective, but you are here as a human. We're talking about the ones of us who are here as the Pleiadians. And so we are not here to form the bonds that you are here. If you are from the Pleiadian star system, you're here because you're meant to create the bonds and do the work that you came here to do. We are outside of that circle, but we are among you. So every once in a while, you might wonder, is that person an alien? And it might be that it is. So just know that you are very much loved and appreciated by everyone from these star systems that are watching you encounter that human experience and move through it, and all the work you're doing to overcome the hard things that you've been through. You are truly some of the strongest and most powerful souls we know. And you have to give yourself credit for the things that you have been through. You have to understand that to shift this world, you have to know what it is that you are healing. And so you've been through it. And as you are moving through these levels, you wouldn't be watching or listening to this today if you were not moving through these levels. You wouldn't be getting this message. For some that have already shut the recording off, they got done listening, they heard something, they weren't interested, they weren't ready. If you are still here with us, you know that this message is for you, that you are in this ascension process very deeply, and that you are ready for the things that are coming in, and you have been doing your work. And we are very, very proud of all of you. Proud is a funny word for us, but we admire you. We admire you. It feels better for the work that you have all been doing and where you are at with it, and how quickly it is now advancing and moving forward. We say quickly because we come from another version of time than what you do. So for us, things look like they're moving very quickly. We know for humanity, it sometimes feels like it's moving very slow. But we guarantee you, as you move into your energies, take the steps to your journey to 5D. And when you get there, then it will feel like it's moving quicker. You will do your self work, do your self healing, and be kind and be the person that the world needs you to be. And it'll start moving a lot quicker. It's going to be funny. It's like everybody's looking at the things that they're listening to us going, how could that possibly be that we are on track? Have you not seen this world in shambles? And we say to you, you'll be amazed at how fast it's actually going. And one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, I can't believe we're here. That all seems like it's a flash. Everything it took to get here seems like it happened in a flash. And because for some of us, that is the reality. It happens very quickly. But as you are experiencing the 24-hour clock and the months and the years, because that's part of the human experience, it may feel like it's taking a little longer in your world, but we trust us. When you leave this world, when your time here is up, you're going to be amazed at how quick that went by. And it's going to feel exhilarating when that's why you come back and do it again, right? You're like, no way, that was that fast. And then you'll be like, okay, I've got to do that again, right? That's why you've been back so many times, but you'll have other experiences now. That is why the enlightenment is happening, right? That is why humanity is going through the changes, because you're going to understand this better now. And you're going to have more information in this lifetime than you've had in these other lifetimes in this human world. And so it's going to be an extraordinary experience for everyone. But we do want to say to you, come play hide and seek with us. See if you can find the Pleiadians, right? See if you can find the ones that resonate for you and feel the family connection to the Pleiadian beings that are already here. Now we say to you, some of you are going, well, what if I don't know if I'm Pleiadian? I'm going to tell you that everyone listening to this has a connection to the Pleiadians, including Tracie, and definitely including Jason, right? And so don't worry, if you're listening to this, you have that connection with the Pleiadian starseed councils. That's why you're still listening. And so we thank you so much. And we're going to ask if Jason has any questions.
I just have one, and it just deals with the Pleiadians. So, if you don't mind, why the Pleiadians are helping out so much with the Earth changes, the shift or anything, why they're so much more involved than a lot of the other star systems?
Because the Pleiadians are you. The Pleiadians are the humankind. They are, how do we say that? The future or the past or another time frame, but it is humanity. It is humanity. This is how you know you make it, right? Because the Pleiadians are here. And the Pleiadians are you. They are your future. That is what it evolves to. And so the Pleiadians are here to help Earth to reassure that it makes it. It has always been that way. And so that maybe that will help answer that question. But yes, the Pleiadians have a stake in this as well, because they are your future. Does that make sense?
Yes. So does the Pleiadians look like us? We look like them?
They look like an evolved version of humans.
Okay.
The DNA is a little bit different, as you're understanding you're going through a process. They are from the higher dimensional version of humankind, and their DNA supports that. And so their physical structures, they're more physically fit, their longevity, lifespans are much, much longer. And but they have the physical appearance of humankind. They're just healthier, more fit, and longer lives. And in that reality, because they come from the higher frequencies.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else you would like to share? Any other messages?
Let us bring Daniel back. We'll see if he has something else to share. We thank everyone for letting us come in and share this time with you. And we look forward to meeting you in person.
Anytime, anytime my people want to come in.
Okay, so what we want to do is just scan the audience really quick and see if there's any last and final messages. There are some of you that are still experiencing either, it is interesting, either you are experiencing old constructs from religious backgrounds, or you are still involved in religious structures. You're going to be going through some changes with that. You're going to be going through some clarity, some clearing, and some understanding of that. You're going to keep the parts that are that were a benefit to you, and you're going to let the rest go. But we're seeing that across the globe, that right now they're clearing, we say the energy that is coming in, the energy that has been formulated for humanity is to help clear the religious constructs and bring more clarity in through people finding their own truths, through the walls are being brought down, the structures are being brought down, the truths are coming out. And so you're going to see more of that happening globally, that maybe you'll see some of the collapse of religious structures, and more of the truth coming out, both in religious structures and also in the government structures as well, because they're a little bit connected, right? The politics and the religions are a little bit hand in hand. So just to prepare yourselves, if you're still connected to those energies, and you may think you're not and find out you are. So don't be surprised by that, and just allow for the flow of what you need to do to happen, and feel the feelings. And where they're showing us, punch the pillow, scream into the pillow, whatever you need to do, because there's going to be things that have to fall away and be reborn within you in a more truthful manner. And so if you find yourself going through that, just give yourself ease and love and grace, and be excited that it's time to be done with that now, that this construct is dissolving so something new can come in. It served its purpose. It was there for a reason. And now it's time to let those old ways shift, to move, and be repurposed into something that's more appropriate for where humanity is going now. And let's see if there's anything else before we bring that to a close. There are many of you who have come from ancient lifetimes. We're seeing Egyptian lifetimes, Lemurian lifetimes, Atlantean lifetimes, but there were civilizations that were here before those. We talked about this before as well. You have been here many times. There's a lot of really old souls here that have been here on this planet through many cycles. And you've been through the rise and collapse of civilizations and technology. There is a lot of information that is yet to be discovered by humanity from the past. And there are some of those who are finding that information that maybe have not been coming out forthright with it, or they have been restricted with it to not come out to the public with it. That stuff will be exposed too, and the findings of the ancient civilizations, the sacred sites, the different things, the truths are coming out, and more and more of these civilizations are being surfaced. if that's the right word. They're being discovered and they're being surfaced, and there's information there that is going to bring humanity into a whole different understanding of what their history is and what kind of technology has been here before. And it's going to lead to some of the technology that's going to be in your future as well, because it's already been here before on this planet. And so when it gets discovered, it will be what's the word when they recreate something? They back engineer it. It'll get engineered into your current timelines, into your current world. And so some of these things from the past, we know you're going to ask Jason, what kind of things? The way that you fly your airplanes, the way that you use your electricity or power equipment, the way that you are, let's see what else they want to show us. The way you use sound. The way you use sound will change. Sound is more important than people realize. It holds a vibration, a frequency. And there are sounds that you can use that can help. This is interesting. They're showing us like your 3D printers. They're saying you can form things out of sound, and you'll start learning how to do that. You'll start bringing some of that technology back. But there is a lot about your history that will start to come forward, and it will change your future. And so that's something else to look forward to. All right. We will ask if you have any questions around that, and then we'll bring that to a close.
No, I think that's pretty interesting stuff. I look forward to all the new changes coming down the pipeline. And I know Tracie's been down about an hour, so I'm pretty sure she's getting worn out or tired. So I think we're good on our side.
Beautiful. Well, thank you once again for letting us come through today and for bringing these messages through. Thank you to the audience for holding the space for that. And thank you, Jason, for creating the platform. We're going to bring Tracie back in, and we will see you all next time.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Whoa, that was fun.
Welcome back.
Thanks. So you were going to talk about Dolores's version of the Mandela Effect. Is that what you were going to talk to us about?
Yeah, so it's a combination of Dolores's information and a couple of sessions from other practitioners that have YouTube videos online. I should have pulled up to see if I had any notes, but I don't think I have any notes on my Excel file. But one of the things I thought was interesting was how they were talking about timelines collapsing, timelines converging. These timelines are getting closer and closer together as the shift increases, or we get closer to us shifting more and more. The timelines are getting closer and closer, and they're kind of like starting to bleed over, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, and then another thing that was interesting about the timelines, and you brought it up as well in the video, is that kind of like you have multiple timelines laid out in front of you, and then also you will be able to pick the correct timeline that you need to go down. Like, if it dealt with a job and you had to make a decision, do I work this job? Do I work that one? Do I go with this company? Do I apply with this one? Those timelines would be clearer to you, to where you will know, like, right away, more information. Well, if I go with this job, this is kind of like how I feel this is going to happen, or I feel like, I'm not going to like this job. I might want to go with this one. I think I'm going to have more success and I feel better with this one, and you have a clearer understanding with it.
So it plays into the intuition then.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you was bringing up the intuition of it. So another thing that I thought was cool, and I don't remember whose video it was, but with the Mandela effect, but CERN played a part in. So CERN
Mm.
changed our timeline. And then also our ET friends or our higher selves, our consciousness changed it back or changed it to a different version than what CERN was doing. Because, sometimes scientists like to play around with things that they don't truly understand. So that was very interesting about that part. And that's why things were even getting more stranger with the Mandela effect, where people were like, it was getting more ramped up, like
Yeah.
books, movies, songs, and so on. It was getting more ramped up. Well, we shifted, we changed the timeline. Not that it was a totally bad thing, but our higher selves or ET friends, someone helped us converge back to the correct timeline. Um, Another one that was pretty cool was that I don't know what year it was. It was like early 2000s, but this was a long time ago that we destroyed ourselves pretty bad. There was a major war. One of the wars was a lot more major than what we remember, what we experienced, because it was so bad and we weren't ready for it. We weren't supposed to experience that timeline, but an accident did happen. They changed that timeline as well. So that's why it was kind of like they put us to sleep for, you know, and I think that was in Dolores Cannon's book too. She brought it up a little bit, how they put us to sleep to reset things because it was too harsh for us to
Yeah.
evolve. So
I've heard that we've
it was
been
like,
reset before. Yeah.
yeah, it was too harsh for us to evolve, and that we weren't being successful with that, and it was not necessary. So they changed it. They changed the timeline. They went back and they changed it. Say, no, this ain't going to happen this go around. We're going to do it different. Whatever they did to get themselves involved with, whatever ET race did, whatever, changed it. And so that's why it's like now we were on this negative timeline. Now we're like, no, now we're back to the positive timeline. And it seems like it keeps shifting and shifting. And that's why
Yeah.
I was like, these timelines are coming together. So it's kind of like looping back in to make
Yeah.
a narrow path.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So that
Something
was
speaking.
so that's what I was saving for the end of the video.
I like it.
I
No,
didn't want to
I like that
influence
we
anything.
just let's just throw out all the ideas and the ones that stick for us, what sounds right for each person.
Hmm.
Um, it's none of us know 100% it's this with no doubt. It's like, and there's so many different realities. There's just so many different, each of us has our own reality. So we're creating from that belief system, which makes every version that you hear correct. So yeah, it just depends on which one feels right as the listeners. Yeah. You
Hmm.
guys, what feels right to you? Keep that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. What do you find interesting? What do you think sounds pretty cool and not, This is
Yeah.
information from different individuals, so it's interesting, I find, when more than one individual is talking about the same thing, or if they bring it up again
Mhm.
later on, like, wait a minute, I heard this once before, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's in someone's session or if it's in one of the books and so on. So you're like, maybe there is something to this.
There's something. You definitely. I've
Now,
had
certain things I can't wrap my mind around, but you know,
right. But that's what keeps it interesting.
I mean, once we start talking about other dimensions, and if these ETs are traveling in other dimensions, it's also said that they can easily change time. They can easily
Yeah.
go to a different time because they're in higher dimensions and they just pop
Well,
up
and
into a different
they
dimension.
they say when we're in the sleep state too, is like, um, if we go, let's say we take a 6 hour sleep, we could be gone for who knows how long. In the other reality, it could be days that we're spending over there and then coming back and to this body, you know, the time is different. Who knows? Who knows? But that's the kind of stuff that I've seen in the sessions when they talk about people going into their soul essence, or the aspect of them leaves this body in the sleep state with like an autopilot version. If you've seen the movie Remote with Adam Sandler, like when he fast forwards, but there's this autopilot version of him. That's what I think of when they say that. I've been shown even in sessions where you could be in your awake state doing something, watching a TV show, or, working or whatever. When you get in that real hypnotic state, you could be on the autopilot and another essence of you is off doing something and then comes back in and pops back in. Who knows? I mean, all of that stuff sounds amazing to me. And it's like, isn't that fun that we're multidimensional people that can do those things? That's awesome. If it's real for me, it's part of my reality and I'm going to experience that. And if somebody that doesn't gel with them, then they're going to create a different experience. But that's the other part. If this is like a matrix, if this is like a simulation, then we're creating the reality. Why not create one that we're going to have fun in? Like, I like that idea. That sounds fun. I want to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to hurry up and go through my notes to see if I had anything on the Mandela effect, and I do not see anything. You'd think I would save something, but
You will now.
yeah, I know. Next time
This
if I find
timeline, you're
something.
going to do it.
Yes, this timeline I will do it.
Right.
So, but it's still interesting. And and I get it. Like some people will say, well, people remember certain things differently than other people, So perfect example is like my coworker, same thing. Like he remembers all kinds of stuff. He remembers stuff like the original old Doritos bag, what it looked like. And he's explained it to me. I was like, you remember stuff like that? And for Monopoly, he remembered the Monopoly guy having
Monocle.
monocle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he not?
That he had to think, no, he does not. Don't tell me
What?
you
Oh, I'm Googling this.
you
The
did not know
Monopoly
that
guy.
he does not have it. He
No.
when he found out about that, he was like, no. He's like, that is not correct. Like he
Oh, he
was
does
like,
in this one. He does in one of them. Here, hold on.
right. But if you pull up a board game or whatever, he does not have one.
No, most of them he does not have it.
And he was so shocked. I'm like, see, that's what and he was so on
Why
it.
would they
Like,
take that off? That was his whole signature thing. The Monocle.
ah, I would see that one. I can go either way on. You know what I mean? I can go with him having it and it makes sense. And I can see him without it and still be okay with it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a perfect example. There's a ton of them. It seems like there's more and more. So it seems like
That
as
would be
time
like
goes
Colonel
on,
Sanders not having his little Colonel Sanders beard.
doesn't have a beard.
No, he does. But that's what I'm saying. It would be
How
like
about
taking Colonel Sanders' beard away. His little white beard with the little mustache.
Tracie? You say that now. I mean, shoot, 2 years from now, we should have timelines be like, no, he never had a beard.
And then in that timeline, I won't be saying it.
Right, right.
Yeah,
You
because
guys are crazy. Y'all remember the craziest things.
well, I loved it when we were talking about that. Somebody said, "Well, can't you just go to the old recordings?" I'm like, "No, because we're on a timeline where that didn't exist, so it's not in the old recordings."
Mm. But it is interesting. People will pull up old videos of certain things and they're like, look, in this video, this is how it is. Or they'll pull up like old commercials or
Oh, they're
something.
finding it?
Yeah, they'll find different things. They'll
Huh.
say, you know, like Fruit of the Loom, that's a big one right now.
What's different about Fruit of the Loom?
Well, a lot of people remember the show, and I remember it too.
Oh, here's one
And
with it.
someone found a piece of clothing with that on, and what? And proved that says, no, this really did exist. And Fruit of the Loom said, no, that was never our logo.
Only one is correct. Okay, yeah, here's something where somebody's making that point. And one of them has the what is that called? Cornucopia thingy.
Yeah.
And the other one doesn't. But all the fruit's in the same place. I remember it with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's interesting. We could probably talk about this
We could do
all
this all
day.
day. Yeah,
There is so much,
absolutely.
so much.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, we should probably just do a video just on that.
probably.
Mandela effects.
Just have everybody, you guys write in your stories and then we can share them.
Yes, that'd be pretty
Fun.
cool.
We could do a show where we're just sharing your stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the Pleiadians, did you see anything else you would like to share on your side of what you were saying from the Pleiadians when they were coming in?
They were the two that were coming in. One was a man, one was a woman, and
Oh, okay.
they were in the blue uniforms that I'm used to seeing them in. They probably did that for me because that's how I imagine them. Blonde hair, blue, very, very blue eyes. In fact, their eyes were almost liquidy, like the blue was almost like in motion.
Like the ocean?
A little bit, yeah. It was like their eyes were in motion. The pupils of or the what do you call that part around the eye? So the color in the eye looked like it was moving. They were both they looked to be like late 20s, early 30s in age, and then very fit. The male was quite a bit taller than the female now that I think about it as I'm looking in my head here. And I think that I've communicated with these two before. I think they're part of my collective or council that I know, but that they used to contact or I used to talk to these two all the time. Back when I was learning Reiki and different things like that, I just didn't know that they were Pleiadian until later. And then I figured that out. That was right around the time Poseidon was coming in really big for me too, with the staff that he has with the three prongs with the arrows at the end.
Oh, the trident?
Trident. Thank you. You'd think I'd know those things, but my head's a little fried right now. Oh, yeah. Like the one in Sarah's book right there. That was showing up everywhere. In fact, I could see it. I would hold my hand up and I could see it in my hand, the trident. And I was like,
Oh, was this in the session you just had, or was this?
no, this wasn't a session. This was my life. This was before I was even doing QHHT.
Oh, no way.
I laid down on my couch and the way that the light was hitting my chandelier, it made it look like a giant trident across my ceiling. And I was just like, is that really happening? And that's, when phones were flip phones and not really, you wouldn't really grab your phone to take a picture. You were still using cameras. And I think I might have tried to take a picture of it, but I don't know where I'd find that. But the weird part was when I would get in the shower, I would look at my hand and it would look like it would turn white. Like the palm of my hand would turn white in the shape of a trident. And I was like, am I going crazy? And I don't know if it was actually happening or if it was just, my eyes were creating that image. I don't know. But that was also during the same time where I had this kind of dolphin skin like ET. I thought I was sleeping and there was a female ET standing next to me. She had like these big octopus looking, like it was like her hair, but it was also her skin. It looked like octopus legs coming out of her head, like hair. So
Not scary at all.
no, it wasn't. And actually,
Oh,
Star Wars actually makes a character that looks a lot like that. And it's like, but at the time, I didn't know that. That was all stuff I learned later too. I was like,
oh.
that character looks a lot like what I saw in my room. But it was a
And you
female.
was a little
She
kid
was
at this time? You was little?
no, I was in my 30s
Oh,
when
okay.
all of this was happening. And it was all around the same time. All of these things were happening. It was right after my divorce, probably because I was in such a crazy emotional state that I was just probably wide open to things. So she came in and I'm laying on my bed and I think I'm asleep. And she says, we're just going to fix this for you. And she starts pushing on my tummy. And I never did find out what they were fixing, but I'm looking at her and she goes, you can touch my skin if you want. And I reached up and I touched her. And I was like, oh, you feel like a dolphin. And then I
Mm.
woke up and I could feel the pressure of her hands release off my stomach physically. I could feel that my stomach felt like somebody just took their hands off of it. And I was like, what just happened? Never did figure out what happened, what they fixed. I don't know. There's times now where I'm like, could you come fix this for me? Where'd you
Hey, can you come
go?
back? Hey, you
But
guys.
yeah, I used to have all kinds of weird experiences. I wake up and, in that first moment I would wake up, I'd see someone standing in my room. And then as soon as I became like aware, then it was gone. It would disappear. I saw two little 3 foot shadowy looking things run through my room one time. And I was like, wait, I'm actually watching them. They ran from my door to my bedroom to the door to my bathroom. And I was like, what was that? And they're about 3 feet tall.
Just keep in mind, Tracie was not on drugs when all this was happening.
No, don't do drugs. And when people come and tell
Disclaimer.
me they do ayahuasca, I'm like, oh, I have these things happen and I don't have to do ayahuasca, which I'm
Yeah,
really
you're getting
grateful
the free
for.
treatment. You're
Yeah. But
getting the discount treatment over there.
yeah. So it's been a journey. Like there's been some weird things that have happened. And now lately it's like I used to wake up speaking light language and talking, knowing I'm talking to somebody, being kind of half awake and hearing myself, but also in this trancy state. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to them, things like that. But now
Hmm.
lately it's been pretty mellow. Maybe now that I'm channeling, that's maybe why it's not
Yeah,
not
we're
having
probably
the
knocking on
other
the door.
experiences.
Tracie,
Yeah.
Tracie, trying to come through.
You're shutting us out. You only let Daniel in now. No. So that might be what it is because they're my gatekeeper now. So I don't have any of those things happening. Maybe that is why they were
Maybe.
happening. But
See which
yeah,
one floats to the top. See which one you connect to the most.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lots of things. Lots of things, guys. We go through it all. None of it's, just have fun. That's what I say. Just enjoy it. Don't get too serious. If your life's getting too serious, shake it off and go do something fun because that's how you're going to shift it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, was there anything else
I
that
don't
you
think
was able
so.
to see? No, we
Oh,
talked about the shift
but
and all that.
the rainbow with the sun was interesting. It was very multidimensional. So that was interesting. I think also that that's going to create colors that, that to show us that we're going to start seeing some colors that we haven't experienced before.
I heard.
And yeah, but I also think that's one of those things that we're not going to realize we haven't seen them before, not with these physical eyes, because we've seen them before in other dimensions and other realities and other bodies, and other lifetimes that we've lived. So are we going to even notice that we're seeing colors we haven't seen before?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know. That is always a weird thing. Like, if there is a new color that we're able to see, how will we, if you're able to describe it, like, I don't know, like, how would you say, I never seen that color before? I don't know.
Yeah.
Could it
And
just be a shade of color that's just a shade different? You know what I mean? So
probably,
it's interesting.
yeah.
Or is it like,
And maybe it's like what they were showing me with the sun coming through the rainbow. Like it's this rainbow, and then the sun's like at the top and center, but it was also very dimensional. Like there was layers to it. And maybe that's what they mean when we're going to see colors
yeah,
like we haven't seen them before. I haven't seen them dimensionally like that before. Like,
maybe it's colors with energy or something, like it's alive or something,
ooh,
colors.
maybe that would be, yeah,
I
that would
mean,
be
it
something.
has to be something like that, something kind of different
Yeah, like it's moving or
instead
it's,
of just a color that's
Or
a
maybe we
shade different.
understand the color and the activation or the frequency with it. Maybe we'll understand it
Yeah,
more. I don't know.
maybe. They say
Yeah.
in ancient times they couldn't really explain the color blue in ancient times.
Hmm.
But I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you see blue in ancient Egypt and so on. You had it in ancient Greece, but I guess it depends on how far you go back. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
Thought was the
Egypt
sky
goes
not blue?
Egypt, Greece, all of those. I know. I was like, why wouldn't you just point at the sky? But
Yeah, blue. So that's the
yeah,
stuff that's, well, why would they say that? It's like how, you know, but I'll let someone else figure that
great.
one out.
Yeah, that's not going to be our problem.
We
So
got the shift and everything else to worry about.
that's right. We've got to look out
We got light codes
for
coming in, night codes, the moon. Yeah, we got
we're
enough
swimming in
going
it. Yeah,
on.
let's go out and swim in it all. I know I'm going to have to go out tonight and see if I can. It's nice and pretty out, so probably a good night to go look at the stars.
Yeah, definitely. Probably take out the little doggies and stuff and let them go outside and be like, "All right, Daniel, I'm outside. Where we at?"
I'm out here. Tell me, what am I
What
missing?
what do I need to do again?
Yeah. Hey, I know the Pleiadians said that they're here, and it makes sense that they're not really interacting. They're not here to make relationships with us, but I've also heard that the mantis beings will do the same thing that the Palladians were talking about. Like they'll be here, but they stay out of sight. Um, I don't know what they do while they're here, but I heard somebody, I think one of my clients was telling me a story of having experiences with mantis beings, but they were able to make themselves invisible. So, of course, the mantis beings, from my understanding, work with like telepathy and that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that they would be able to
Yeah.
manipulate the mind to not see them. So,
There was
yeah.
an alien being in Dolores Cannon's book about how it was able to shift dimensions. So you couldn't see it.
Oh,
And then if you did see the being, you saw the being as something different than what it was. You know,
hmm,
like in reality, the alien being might not be handsome or good looking. It might be kind of like weird looking, like
right.
bony face or something. Something's different with the bones. But in your reality, when you see the alien being, you see like, oh, this is such a beautiful
So
person.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so beautiful, and like only if you knew. Till that mask comes down, you're like, oh, this one's
Right.
rough.
Yeah. Where did the spikes out of your forehead come
Yeah,
from?
where all these bones came from poking out of your face?
That'd be my luck. Like, wait, you're not Daniel.
Yeah. And like the hands were very bony and like very like the knuckles were very big on this alien being. But in your reality, when you saw the being, you saw it as, oh, those are pretty nice hands.
Hmm,
So food for
interesting.
thought, you know?
Yeah. Well, that makes sense that they're going to project themselves to us in a way that won't be frightening or
Right.
startling to us. Be
Or
pleasing.
screaming.
Yeah. We're all about the pretty, the beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something that we're used to, you know.
Yeah.
Till things change and you get used to it, you know. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, you're like, yeah, just might tone it down a little bit.
Exactly. It's smart. It's smart
Um,
interaction.
absolutely. So, well, I think we had another great session, even though we didn't know what to bring up, what to talk about,
Yeah.
anything.
I know. Those are
We
always
just
the
winged
best.
it again, and great stuff came through.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for creating that space to do that. And
absolutely.
sorry we didn't channel in the last video. It's part one and
Yeah, I knew
but
it was going to take longer. I knew it.
yeah, we just had things to share. We had some pretty cool events and yeah. So that's right. So if you guys are thinking about a trip to Egypt, January,
That's right.
17 days, life-changing, and yeah, it'll be perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
having me on again. And thank you everyone for being here and listening.
Yep. Thank you for everything. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, pressing like, and also for the people listening to the podcast. So it's actually doing pretty good. I was just checking out some of the numbers. So, it's about 800, 700. So still doing
Very nice.
strong. Still
That is
doing good.
very nice. Yeah, I like it. Good job, you guys. Keep doing that. Help Jason
Yep.
out. Help me out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.